Hello and welcome to A Trek for Change. I am Andy Brine, and for those of you who don't know me, I've been working with Wayne for quite some time on, with A World for Change, Sustainability in the Modern World show, and also behind the scenes on A Trek for Change. It's really been a pleasure to help Wayne throughout the past year and even slightly longer than that. And even more of a pleasure to actually work with him through the Trek for Change, because he's got a lot he's doing over the next month or so, and he's come across a lot of challenges and obstacles already, which he's going to be sharing with you today. So today we're going to be talking about his journey so far, or the journey so far in regards to a Trek for Change. And if you have any questions or comments throughout the show, please use the hashtag a Trek for Change, and yeah, we'll be sure to answer any questions or comments you have, and please join the interaction and engagement, and we look forward to engaging with you. So let me hand it over to Wayne now. Tell us more about your journey so far, Wayne, and what you're looking to achieve.
Sure. Well, most of you who follow me on my YouTube channel already know who I am and know what I'm up to. But if you don't, and if you're just now tuning in and you're new to this project that I'm working on, A Trek for Change is a trek that I am gearing up to take. Matter of fact, already started a month ago, and we'll get into that in a minute, but gearing up to take across the country on a bicycle that's sitting here behind me. And I'm filming this whole trek, and it's getting broadcasted on YouTube in a semi-live environment. A couple of episodes per week will get uploaded in real time after it's happened, but within the week. And you all will be able to follow along with this process and what I'm going through. But more importantly, this isn't about me taking a trek on a bicycle across the country, or it's not about the athlete trying to address a challenge and achieve a goal. This is about you and I, and this is about all of us who are focused on better ways, or trying to focus on better ways to live and better ways to be more sustainable with our daily life. And that's what this trek is about. It's to showcase what's really going on in North America. You know, on the Sustainability in the Modern World show, Andy, you and I spend a lot of time talking with experts and others who are highly focused on being sustainable in whatever aspect of their business or their life that our topic is for the month. So we talk to people on a daily basis. I communicate with people and organizations through social media, online, through the telephone, on a regular basis, that are all focused on being sustainable. But here where I live in small Clay County, Alabama, we don't hear a lot of conversation that's focused on being sustainable or alternative forms of energy, etc. And so it's time to get out there and talk about it. It's time to tell the story in real time with real people and document what's happening and create a moving conversation that we can all collaborate on, and that we can all come together and hopefully build something that's much, much greater than just a rolling documentary on YouTube. Hopefully it'll be more in-depth, and it will be more collaborative in its action. And we'll talk a little bit about that throughout this show today, but we'll be talking about the waypoints that we have scheduled and how those waypoints might feed back into this collaborative community environment that we're trying to build, not just in our local community here, but in the broader sense that we need to have a sense of community as a country and as a nation and even as a world. So that's where we're going right now. And thanks for giving me an opportunity to let it out.
Well, again, thanks for allowing me to be a part of your journey, let's say. I remember when you first asked me back, what is it, 4 or 5 months ago now. So Andy, what do you think about me travelling from one side of the states to the other? And I was just thinking, wow, I'm not sure, Wayne. Sounds a bit crazy, in a good way, you know. But I said, yeah, definitely go for it. And obviously, you've had a lot of support and from family and friends and people around you, which is fantastic. But I'd be interested to find out about what has been your personal vision for yourself. I know you've spoken about a lot about that there, but what do you personally want to achieve yourself? Because I know you've got certain targets and things that you want to get out of it personally as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, personally, for me and myself, I want to grow as an individual. This journey is not just about producing a documentary series that lands on YouTube. It's not just about starting this conversation. Certainly, there are aspects that, as a cyclist, anybody that's into biking and cycling will tell you, it just takes grit. You have to build your own mental and emotional stamina, let alone your physical stamina. But it takes a certain mindset just to continue to move day after day and push yourself mile after mile on a cycle or on a bicycle. And so I would hope that at some point or during this process I grow, and I would hope that the video production quality continues to grow and things happen in that regards. But more importantly, what I hope to achieve, and I'm not the only one looking for this, there's several other people who have agreed to have waypoints along the way or host waypoints who are also looking for this collaborative experience, but where we can all gather around a campfire, whether it's virtually or in person, and we can share together and we can collaborate and we can come up with a solution that will help our society to move forward. And that's the only way that I can see us moving forward as a species, as a human race, is if we collaborate together and we work together in real time using technology that we have. And that's what I'm doing, hoping to utilize this bike trek or the Trek for Change to really bring people together and to start this conversation in a way that's never been done before. And throughout this process and throughout this trek, I'll be stopping at, some of them planned and some of them won't be, but stopping at homesteads and businesses and government entities who are looking for somebody to share their story and to share what they are doing at the local level and in their community and with other individuals. And that's the story that I'm going to share with you on my YouTube channel. So please go and subscribe. If you haven't already been a subscriber, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because we'll be getting this content as I take off on the trek. So that's what I'm looking to achieve, I reckon.
Excellent. And I suppose in regards to preparation, I imagine, well, I could see there's obviously a lot of preparation involved in doing such an incredible task, like travelling from one side of the state to the other side. What sort of preparation have you been going through yourself over the past 2-3 months to get started?
Yeah, well, I'm not a cyclist, so I don't have experience cycling. I would say the first portion of just getting ready was the mental build-up, deciding on whether or not I wanted to do something like this. And then the second portion of getting ready was finding sponsorships to help with the trek. The bike's been sponsored. Some of the bags that I have with me have been sponsored. A lot of the equipment, the cooking equipment that I have nutrition bars, a company that's providing that. It's healthy, sustainable nutrition. I have a company providing, as small as it may seem, bathing supplies that are all natural, that's a good sustainable organization that gives back to the community around them. And that's the kind of businesses that I have decided to side with when going on this trek and to reach out for sponsorships. So that's been a massive learning curve, not only for me, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get everything you need sponsored without purchasing. And So, most of that I've decided that I'm not going to do this trek if I can't, if I can do it. I'm not going to tackle this trek using all my own money. So I'm not going to go purchase a bike and purchase all the gear that I need and then take off on the trek. That to me doesn't seem like a very community-oriented type of a venture. But if I can bring good businesses locally, businesses that are sponsoring the bike and sponsoring other items, as well as good wholesome organizations who are sustainable, and I can bring us all together and we can collaborate under a sponsorship for a Trek for Change so that we can tell this story. Now we're talking about something that's becoming more of a community environment and a community mindset and a community project, even though I'm heading it up. And I'm the guy that's got to focus mile after mile just to put one foot in front of the other, literally, and get across the country. And so that's where my heart is. I mean, I want to bring as many good quality organizations together as possible. And we'll be doing that throughout the trek. I mean, different waypoints and different places that I have in mind to stop by.
Excellent. And I'm interested to find out also about some of the challenges that you've had. I know you've had a lot of challenges within your journey so far. Tell us a bit more about some of those challenges as we go through.
Yeah, sure. Well, the challenges in and of themselves, it's not just about the accident, which we'll talk about here in a minute. That was a major challenge. But there's challenges of just training in and of itself. I mean, the mindset that it takes to build your body up to a point where it is possible to ride for 30, 40, 50, 70 miles in a day on a bicycle and then turn around and do it again the next day and again the next day and again the next day. Those are massive challenges. So I had to work to build my body to a point where I could handle that. And I did. And we prepared and we took off on the trek. And maybe it was a bit premature. We were still waiting on some supplies. I had a deadline that we were trying to meet for a time to leave at the 1st of June. And that deadline came up, and there were some supplies that we still didn't have that was being shipped to us. And so the goal was to acquire the supplies at the first waypoint and re-outfit the bike to haul a little bit more equipment and continue on. And most of you know, and if you don't already, most of you know, I had a fairly major accident on the second day of the trek. And I would attribute that to 3 different challenges or 3 different reasons. One of them was the fact that I was not able to get the trailer that I was looking to get sponsored. The Bob Yak trailer, and anybody in the cycling industry will know what I'm talking about, but it's a single wheel trailer that mounts to the axle of the bicycle. And that's the best one that's made that I know of, and that most cyclists will recommend that you take. And so I went with a lesser version. It was a more affordable version. It cost just slightly more than 1/8 of the price of the Bob trailer, and that would be one of the challenges. It's cheap Chinese manufacturing, and the bearings on the wheel just seem to not like the weight that I had given it to haul. And that being said, I believe I still was within the weight limit, but that would have been one challenge. The second challenge is I didn't have the bags hanging on the bike because I was waiting for the racks to arrive, and I again was on a crunch time to leave June 1st. And when in hindsight, I would say it would have been better for me to wait for the racks so that I could redistribute the weight out of the trailer and a little bit more onto the bike frame the way it should be. So that was a challenge. And then thirdly, I may have overloaded the trailer just slightly too much or too high of a load rather than getting some of the weight down lower in the trailer. And I was headed down a state road. moving at a pretty good pace, 30 to 35 miles an hour. That's not anything that's overly dangerous. Most cyclists will tell you that. But when you're pulling a trailer and it's a long progressive incline, the trailer just started doing the same things that you would have noticed a trailer do if you were pulling a trailer with a pickup, and the trailer was loaded incorrectly. It started to wag back and forth behind my bike, and 2-3 seconds later, to me, 2 or 3 seconds later, about 10 minutes later, I was waking up with an ambulance pulling up, and I was going to the ER. And it was simply because that trailer started to push my bike, didn't have enough weight on the bike. The action of the bearings on the wheel potentially caused an issue, and I was out. It laid me over and right in the middle of a state road. And thankfully, I'm still here to talk about it. Obviously, God just isn't done working with me yet. But that said, that's a major lesson that I had to learn and move on past. And I've been working through that since I had the accident. I've posted pictures in the video or in the stream below in this event page where you can go and take a look at some of these pictures that the way I looked after the accident and how I've started to heal up. But thankfully to my girlfriend Becky, she's been amazing. She really has helped with nursing me back to health, and I'm feeling better than ever. This last couple of weeks, I've gotten back on the bike. I've started to rebuild my muscle strength, my stamina, and for the first time last week, I was able to top 40 miles in a day with quite a bit of weight on the bike. So that's a positive, and we're moving in the right direction to rebuild. So I hope that addresses some of the questions I know a lot of the audience is going to have.
Definitely, I think it answers a lot of the questions I have, and definitely a lot of questions of people in the audience. Now you've got a lot ahead of you now, but looking at the trailer, I know you showed me the trailer the other day. It does look a lot stronger. It does look a lot stronger, and it does look it's going to do a fantastic job to get you from one side to the other.
Well. Yeah, I mean, I would say it will. I hope it does. It's still the same trailer, but I've modified it. I've taken the whole hitching mechanism off of it and completely rebuilt the hitch to mount up on top of the rack. And I don't think you can see it in the video, but I've made a mounting point back here on the rack where the trailer tongue will come up over the back wheel and mount. And I'm hoping that the way I've designed the trailer tongue to fit with the trailer that I have will have helped to transfer that weight more effectively. And not only that, just to mention the fact that I have more bags on their way, so I'll have 4 bags on the bike to carry most of the gear and use the trailer for supplemental gear. Things like the camera equipment, the solar panels, and some of the lighter weight equipment that I just can't get, or the larger, bulkier equipment that I just can't get strapped down to the bike. So I'm hoping that all of this collectively will work together and we can progress.
Excellent. One thing that I thought we'd move on to now would be actually having a look at the map, because we've got a large map that we've obviously put together here, and obviously you've put all the waypoints together to show people where you're going, where you're headed, and who you're meeting along the way. So let's jump over to the map, and as we look at the map now, what we can see is I'll zoom in slightly to you've got there Ashland, Alabama.
Yeah.
So I presume that's where you're starting, or was that where you initially started the trek?
That's where I initially started the trek, and the reason for that is it's the county seat for Clay County, and the goal was to bring as many people together within our community and within small communities throughout North America as possible. And so we decided to start from the county seat. We kicked it off June 1st at the kitchen. It's a local organic eatery, a new organic and vegan eatery in Ashland, right on the square. We threw a big event in the morning, and I took off. I rode through the rain on the first day and ended up about 25 miles or so southwest of Ashland, out in the Talladega National Forest, and we stayed the night there. And it was great. Everything worked out fine. Well, Becky, my girlfriend, met me for the night, spent the night with me, and I left the next morning with a little bit more weight on the trailer, which more than likely is what caused some of the accident to happen. And so when I had the accident, I was just south of Sylacauga on a state road, headed north, and was looking for a county road to cut back west, southwest again, and was going down that long hill, and it was over. It was over that fast. And I called Jared Stanley, who runs a YouTube channel, J&J Acres, and is a permaculture design specialist, and that was where I was headed at Tumsuba, Mississippi, for my first waypoint. And I called him. I said, "Hey, buddy, it's probably going to be a couple days, and I'll be back on the road again. I'm not." Of course, I just walked out of the ER, and I was hopped up on pain meds, I think, and I said, give me a little bit to get straight, and we'll be back on the road. But I think that was the adrenaline talking, and when I really started to look at how I was injured, it was going to take a fair amount of time for me to recover. And so it took me about 2 weeks to get to the point where most of my injuries were covered up. And so the goal now is to go back to where I had the accident and kick the trek off again. And we'll be doing that within the next 2 weeks.
Excellent. And if I move back to the map here, we'll see some of the other waypoints, the major waypoints that you'll be hitting along the way.
Yeah.
So if we zoom in on a few of them, just give them a second to load.
Sure. Let's talk about. Go ahead.
There was Jackson, Mississippi. Is that right? And
Jackson is a waypoint. We're going to bring several like-minded people together in Jackson. So if you live in or around Jackson, Mississippi, please go to the link in the description. It's aworldforchange.com/a trek for change. That's the website that we put together for the trek, and you can apply to become a waypoint. So that would be one. If you live anywhere along the trek, and you would like me to stop at your home site, and if you have a bed or showers that you'd like to offer, that's one possibility. You can apply to become a waypoint or apply to have me stop by. Or if you live in and around the Jackson area, contact me via email or on social media, and we will make sure that you know exactly when and where I will be in Jackson and who all will be available and be there, so that we can all collaborate together, because we are putting together an event there.
Excellent. And one thing that I thought we'd do actually quickly is have a look at some of the other waypoints. So you've got Tumsuba, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. Let's see, Seymour.
Missouri. Yep.
Missouri, is that Missouri, is it? Yep.
Yeah, Seymour, Missouri. That's where Missouri Wind and Solar is located. Jeff from Missouri Wind and Solar has sponsored the solar equipment that it's going to take to keep this laptop that I'm talking on now, my cell phone, the GoPro camera, etc., keep all that charged and functional. And so they've provided all that solar equipment, and we're going to have a waypoint there.
Fantastic. So if we look a bit further, we've got Greensburg.
Greensburg, Kansas is a town that has switched over to nearly 50%, I think over 50% of their town is running on wind power. And so the fact that they are using alternative energy is a reason for us to stop and to really look at what they have done as an organization or as a government to build their town around their resource, which is wind. And hopefully we can come away with ideas and ways that we can model that for the future in other areas.
Excellent. No, I love it. And obviously each waypoint is going to teach you something new, something different, you know, from each of these towns and cities. So
Right.
So let's move along. You're moving through to Colorado now, your largest waypoint. Yep. So you've got Colorado Springs, and then you've got Denver, Colorado, and Longmont, sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of waypoints there. What is it you're looking to do on some of those waypoints through Colorado?
Well, I have friends excuse me, pardon me. I have friends in Colorado Springs who I will be meeting with, and I'm putting together a waypoint in one of those three cities, if not all three of them. And they may not be long weekend waypoints, but it'll at least be an evening where we can all collaborate, build and collaborate together and meet each other. So it'll be an opportunity for you all to meet with me at one of the venues that we decide. But as the trek progresses and as I move west through and put miles on the bike, we'll start to get a little better understanding of where I will be at that specific time or when I will be at those specific waypoints, and we'll give you notify you all in advance, and that'll be done through email. So if you would, I put a link in this in the description or in the comment thread below in this event page on Google+. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll make sure and put it in the description of this video. But a place where you can sign up for my uber private emails. And I mean that. I don't send a lot of emails. I started sending them every day, and it's just something that I can't keep up with. But I will send you emails on a regular basis and keep you updated with where I'm at, where I'm going, and when you can interact with me. So I'd like to communicate with you that way, and would encourage you to sign up for those emails so that we're all on the same page and you can support this trek more effectively and be a part of it.
Excellent. And what I've done is I've put the links on the broadcast as we're going through. So
great.
We're still looking at the map here, and we're going through Colorado. We're moving up through the country a bit further, and the next waypoint is Salt Lake City. So tell us what you've got planned in Salt Lake City as we go through.
Sure. I don't know if you are familiar with Jerk's Bike Shop in Salt Lake City. I think Kirk Sherrod's one of the owners. Him and his brother kind of run the shop. And I've been working with them and talking with them to build an incredible waypoint, really, more focused on the cycling community. But the goal is to get the cycling community involved in sustainable aspects of living and get them to be a part of this story, because there's so many cyclists who really live their life around the concepts of being sustainable. And that's one of the reasons why many of them who are commuter cyclists have even been a part of the cycling industry in the first place. It's because they believe that they're doing their part, and they are doing their part on a regular basis. So we'll put together some kind of a ride event where others can ride along with me for several miles around Salt Lake City. And by the way, if you're interested in joining me on part of this trek, if you live along the trek path and you'd like to organize some time to ride with me for a few weeks or a few days rather, or even a day or a few hours, I'm really open to that. It's something that I want to do and would like to bring everybody together and to be a part of it.
Excellent. And I'd love to come over. I'm sure I'll come over at some point and join you on the trek. But I'll also be behind the scenes, obviously, helping out with the broadcast and sharing some of your live waypoints as and when you'll be able to do that. So that'll be fantastic.
Yeah, and I would ask the audience as well, if you guys like this kind of a broadcast, you like what we're doing here, if it turns out like we're hoping it will, Andy, we will continue to broadcast like this. So let us know your thoughts if you like this kind of a broadcast. If you want us to do regular broadcasts from the road, one of the reasons why Andy and I are doing this show for you today is not only so you can get up to speed, but so we can run through all of our equipment and kind of retest everything using a laptop and cell phone data service, if you will. So we believe that it's something that we can pull off and really get others involved with.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I know we're coming towards the end of the broadcast, but what I did want to do is quickly cover some of the last waypoints you've got here. So we're still on the map at the moment. We've still got a few waypoints to go through. So let me quickly scan through a few more as we move further. And I see just after Salt Lake City, you're hitting about 2,945 miles already, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. So you've obviously reached a huge feat. So you're actually, your last waypoint, which I see here, is San Francisco, California. So tell us a bit more about your final waypoint and what you're looking to do to end the trek with a massive bang.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully I end it with a splash in the ocean. That's the goal. I mean, there's no way I'm not going to ride into San Francisco and go ride the bike right into the water. I mean, it's just got to happen. So that'll be fun. It's just under 3,000 miles of mileage from where I'm starting here in Ashland to San Francisco by way of the way that it's laid out. I might end up hitting a little more than 3,000 miles if I take some slight detours north or south to meet with different people and create some new and unique waypoints that's not even listed on this map. And so that's really what we'll be doing. And then when we arrive in San Francisco, we'll put together a weekend event or a night event where again, we can collaborate, and we'll bring together figureheads who are focused on living and doing business sustainably here in the world. All of the sponsors who have sponsored the trek will be invited, and so I'm sure some of them will be present. So this will be a large event that you can all collaborate with us on, and not only will we have the event there locally, but our goal is to broadcast these events similar to the way Andy and I are broadcasting our event now, so you can all participate, and it can be a two-way conversation and not just a one-way conversation. So I just hope, I hope with the bottom of my heart, like from every ounce of my energy, I really hope that this can drive a conversation that would have not started to snowball otherwise. How's that? Is that a good way of saying it?
Definitely, I think that's absolutely perfect. So before we close out the broadcast, I know we had a few comments in the audience, and apologies not for getting to you all today, because I know Wayne has so much to share. So tell me, have you got any closing thoughts, Wayne, before we close out today?
Yeah. Well, my simply said, my closing thoughts are: please share everything I'm doing with your group of friends and with your tribe and with your circle of people who you trust and who you know will value from this. Because, I mean, I don't know how else to say this, but I need help. Not because I can't do it on my own, but because when we band together and we have multiple people doing and focus on the same goal, the snowball increases in size dramatically in a very quick way. And I believe that the more people that are sharing this and the more people that are telling the story of what's happening and sharing the playlist that I've created on YouTube specifically for the trek, the greater impact we will have. And not to mention, I do have a GoFundMe set up that you can go and support us or support the Trek, support what I'm doing financially. But I don't like to ask for money. It's just something that if it's something that you feel in your heart that you should do, I would encourage you to go to the GoFundMe, and you can find that right there on the website that we've shared with you. But please go to that GoFundMe and share the GoFundMe if you can't help financially, and if you can, it would be a real blessing, because this is a project that's going to change the world. Simply said.
Excellent, and I think that is the perfect time to close. So I will say thank you all for joining us today and for following Wayne on his amazing Trek for Change. Follow all his posts on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and all of social media. Obviously, I've shared a link there to support Wayne's campaign. Any financial donations will make a huge difference, and I will definitely be supporting him along the way. If you have any questions or comments that you want to leave to finalise the show, please feel free to keep the discussion going on the event pages on Google Plus and throughout the internet. And we look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Bye for now.